I'm very sure that you will enjoy this talk, and because it is on very interesting subject, and it was given to me by Dr. Hariharan, as he has already mentioned to you, that the subject is so, I would say, so evolving and very important subject, and such kind of platforms, definitely we should discuss these subjects. So subject itself is very clear that true green and greenwash. Next. 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 Yes. So I think all of us are having an understanding that why we are talking about this green subject and adding into buildings, adding into products, and adding into everywhere. We are saying go green, and green is the buzzword. But why we are talking all this? Because we know that the climate and its disasters and consequences, global warming, all these are evolving talks nowadays. Next. So these are some of the glimpses which I think I want to just save time, because I have already wasted a lot of time in the technical issues. So these are the very common things like global deforestation, and these are very common agendas. So I'll take you to directly the thought of opinion which I would like to share today. So next slide. Next. Next. Here, just close it here. So I think when we are talking about greenwashing, so greenwashing is basically most of the organizations nowadays using this as a marketing strategy. So they are using it for their sales and promotional, for their brand building, and showing that in a better light, where actually it is not green. So what happened basically when the customers like us, the consumers like us, when we understand that this particular product is green or non-green, so it is very difficult to validate that product, whether it is true green or is it just a greenwash. So where common man consumer really gets confused. So basically most of the companies, they are giving sometimes it's a validated claims, and sometimes their valid claims are also false. So these kind of evolving subjects, and I think a lot of research is also happening, and worldwide I should say, and there are some case studies which I would like to share with you today, and which will show you that how the people have lost their reputation, how the people have lost their dignity, how the people have lost their productivity because of this greenwashing concept. And then now afterwards they're working on the revival process. So they are needing more investment to rebuild, to revive upon that. Because once there this fake washing, the greenwashing is just identified by some third party. Next. So next, just be here now. So let me tell you, friends, when we talk about greenwashing, so basically there are 7 sins of greenwashing. One is when you don't have any proof, so not having any accessible evidence of the environmental impact the company has, because they have not mapped, they have not identified the impact, the pros and cons of their product or their building or whatever. I'm not just talking only building here, but I'm just looking in a very holistic perspective, very holistic approach. Each and every product in the market, each and every services we are getting in the market, whether how we should identify whether it's a green or just is a greenwashing or it's a real green. So then vagueness. So sometimes they are using the labels that is just ambiguous and poorly defined. And sometimes this is irrelevance. So using labels that are just very insignificant to the whether the product services eco-friendly or not. I'll give you some examples now next. Then the lying. Sometimes they are lying, so marketing effects that aren't really true. And there are some hidden trade-offs. And there are some worshipping false labels and lesser of two evils, like they're comparing their product with other conventional product, and they are claiming that they are more eco and more eco-friendly. So those sort of things are basically, these are 7 sins of greenwashing. Next. So next. Actually, I'm finding really very difficult when somebody is running your slide and that distract the connect actually with the audience. That's the problem. But I'll try to justify that.
Sure. Sure.
So we know that the popularity of this environmentally sustainable products and services, if you see the worldwide, now, especially the new generation, the Gen Z, the people, the students, the children like you who are born after 1985. So it is a very, very common and very evolving and attractive, thing for them. So the popularity is enhancing, is increasing. Everybody who just wants green products, sustainable products. So there is a lot of talks happening, the worldwide, especially in the millennials. And I'll tell you the next. If you see in this slide, so you will see that if you do the Google searching, so you will find that shopping category, if you compare it from the 2016 and as on 2020 and 21, you will see there is a drastic increase in the searching of sustainable options. This is what the kind of, because of the maybe the global warming issues, climate change, and people have more attraction towards green. Next. Yeah. Not even in the global perspective, but in India also. There is a rising demand for the sustainable products in India as well. So, even like people like me, we go to the malls or we go to for the shopping or something. The focus is always what is eco, what is organic. Even being a lady, when you buy the cosmetics, so you always, your focus is what is eco-friendly. So I'm very conscious about my health and well-being. Similarly, you go to a grocery store, you will be finding a separate counter, where people are selling grocery items, your pulses, and those brands also claim that they are green and they are more organic. Even you talk about vegetables, you talk about fashion apparels, you talk about cosmetics, you talk about any product nowadays, and this is a kind of some marketing stuff nowadays. So even being a conscious consumer nowadays, our focus is also just to purchase and buy more on the green side. That's happening. Next. But unfortunately, here I would like to share with you guys that there are a few brands which are very big brands. So they have faced the consequences of this greenwashing marketing. And I'll show you some of the, some small case studies I would like to discuss with you. Next. So before I show you the case studies of 3-4 brands, so I think it is very important to understand that effects of greenwashing on the society is very, very important, because consumer get confused. So if you know that product is the marketing company is doing greenwashing, so then that creates a confusion and they lost the trust among the customers, among the consumers. So this is what happened as the effects of the greenwashing. So you are not able to believe what to choose, what to procure, because you have a doubt then. So creating that doubt, on the product because of the greenwashing, so it is a very sensitive issue for any manufacturer, for any corporate, when they start marketing for such kind of products. So that impact on the society is also equally important, because finally it is affecting their health and well-being, and it is also very much connected to the health of the Mother Earth. Next. Yeah. So there are so many effects which I can talk. There is a huge list on that, but the major part is the creating trust and building trust among the consumer, so that we should not lose our reputation as a corporate. We should not lose any sort of dignity in the market, so that your customers, your investors, they start to not believing in you or in your product or credibility. So your business also affects a lot when you're not doing such kind of things like greenwashing and green marketing. Next. So this is the just one sort of small case. I think you must have heard about that the company Coca-Cola. and they have some valid claims that their products are green, because they are using 25% marine plastic. But actually, when it was researched by some sort of foundations like Changing Marketing Foundation, so they have, give the claim that it is invalid claim because what they are using, because they do not disclose the fact that they are the largest producer of plastic pollution as well, because they are the biggest, the producer. So sometimes it is very difficult to maintain the sort of, the balance between the production, consumption, and the kind of waste you are responsible to generate, and which finally affects your entire biodiversity, your health and well-being, and your health of the planet, of course, which is very important. Next. But let me tell you, these corporates, once it was identified that they are doing invalid claims for their product, they also restart to work to revive and repair their reputation, by doing some sort of initiatives. Like now they have already started, which is an ocean cleanup program. So I don't know that how they will maintain that balance, what they are responsible as a polluter, and how they are going to balance by cleaning and, driving these ocean cleanup programs. So that is really something, which we need to really give a, thought process on these issues. So balancing act is very, very important here. Next. Similarly, I would like to correlate it because the case why I mentioned here about the cola, this company is because when they are responsible for the plastic, which is the major issue, I would say the worldwide now, because plastic, if you see the production of plastic worldwide, and China is on the topmost, but if you per capita, if you see the kind of mismanagement in India, because we people are also very, very responsible for the mismanagement. So you will see that India produces 3.4 million tons of plastic waste in a year. And out of that, 30% is just only recycled. The rest you can imagine where it goes. It goes in the sea, then it goes in the for the responsible for land pollution. So finally, these companies or corporates who are manufacturing and working on the production and increasing their capacity, but when it comes to the waste stream, finally, the impact is so large. So that's very, very, I would say, challenge in front of us, and how to tackle in the future and to create that balance. Next. Similarly, if you see that the plastic waste emitted to the oceans, India ranks now second in the world after Philippines. And the reason being is because of the mismanagement. Because we people are really, we need a lot of sensitization and awareness still. Although there are some positive things which I would like to share. Next, sir. Next. So when we say greenwash, that is a one aspect. But there are some efforts and there are some, the milestones, some organizations, some institutions like Prem Jain Memorial Trust and some other global institutions who are also on the right path and educating people on the two green aspect. Like if you see this program, like the Blue Flag program, this is run by the Foundation for Environmental Education. So this is basically a program right from the Denmark, Copenhagen, where they have identified, 4,000 beaches by 2022, and they have given them an award of Blue Flag. So let me tell you that in India, we have 12 Blue Flag beaches, and I'll just like to share with you that as well. Next. So this is, you can see some of the pictures like Pondicherry, Odisha, Karnataka, Kerala, Diu, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And next. So there are some another 6 beaches from Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Karnataka, Andhra, Lakshadweep. Lakshadweep, in fact, we have 2 beaches. So they are Blue Flag beaches of India. So although I would like to share that in our urban areas, like especially the coastal cities like Mumbai, I am from, there are some good moves, like good initiatives now. Some of the foundations, like Afroz Foundation in Mumbai, and some good foundations are taking initiatives and doing this clean drives and educating people, sensitizing communities, and periodic drives are happening now. So I hope something we could achieve, but the problem is bigger. Although there is a small steps that will work, but the problem is really bigger. So unless we don't stop the production and we stop generating the waste, still we are claiming and talking about recycling, reuse. That is not the only solution. Next. So now I'll give you another example. So let's see another bad case and how they are reviving now. So it is another case of greenwashing of the Volkswagen, I don't want to spoil their name or something, so please understand my intentions are not that. But I'm just telling you that the reputation degradation, and sometimes, when you do such kind of green marketing or some sort of those activities, that you lose the credibility, you lose the, basically your reputation and especially the trust among the customers. So if you see that in 2015, this company has come up with a device, which is they claim that, they will, it will help you to monitor the, nitrous oxide emissions, which basically they were producing more even from the, even bigger than the benchmarks, even 40 times higher. The pollutants of nitrous oxide they were emitting, actually, which was the real case. But they were claiming that, they are basically helping to monitor it, and they are very green, they are very eco-friendly like that. So some of the foundations, they have said that it is not a valid claim and they call it a defeat device. So basically they were also penalized for that, which is $35 billion, including $9.5 billion already paid to the United States to compensate the customers. So that is the case. So now I will also show you that how they are rebuilding that reputation now. Because once you lose the reputation, then again you need to work hard. So you need to again do the revival process. Next. If you see the revival process now, so now they know that EV, like electric charging, EV motors, and that's a very base word, and we are talking on that. So there, they are first automaker to commit that in the Paris Climate Agreement, that they made a policy that they will be carbon dioxide neutral by 2050. This is what their commitment in the Paris commitment actually. And they also committed that they will invest 35 billion euros for the e-mobility by 2035. And they also plan to launch 70 fully electric models by 2030. So when they give such kind of commitments and policy interventions through their ESG report, like you must be knowing ESG report, where the most of the financial obligations and people have to create those reporting frameworks nowadays. So what happened in result, their marketing, their, I would say the presence, getting some positive signs. The sales has started to increase for their electric vehicles. So that's a positive impact once you start something doing a green in real, when you start working on some pollution-free things or more green products, then definitely your impression, your impact also gets, transformed in the market. So if you see now, I also would like to share with you that this particular company has a policy now where they are making all their factories now green certified. Because now they have to claim and they have to declare their all invalid claims to valid claims now. So now they are working and they are putting more and more investment in that. Next. So another case, because I showed you the case of motor and vehicles and we talk about Coca-Cola, but there is another case where I would like to connect off this greenwashing concept with a fashion apparels. So this is a case of H&M brand, which is a very big brand. So they are also the largest company in the world. If you see the sales volume in the fashion industry after Zara, because Zara is the biggest brand and they are the after that, the H&M brand. And you will find that they're all retail showroom everywhere in all the malls, in the urban areas you will find. So basically, what has happened that just to attract, environmentally conscious customers, the company introduced a new line of garments, which is conscious choice line. So whether they claim that their all clothes are made sustainably, but what happens that the courts, when they were doing their investigation, they have found it out the opposite thing. Because the company was claiming that they are reducing 20% of water consumption when they are manufacturing their garment. But actually the case was different due to during investigation. Actually, they were consuming 20% more water. And not only even that, even the several clothes which they were manufacturing, they were 100% polyester. So polyester, that is not a biodegradable product, and when it mixed with the water streams as a waste, it makes the microplastics, and that is again coming in your food chain, and that is another the impact on the circular economy, which is in the negative side. So the point here is, so it is sometimes, you brand something, but when you don't evaluate or don't do a proper quantitative assessment, in terms of environmental impacts from the long-term perspective, so then you got such kind of problems and such kind of then valid claims, if it is an invalid claims. So just justifying those claims is very, very challenging then. Because, I think when you are doing such kind of claims, you have to be very, very conscious. You need to do proper R&D work on that. This is what my take on that. Next. So now if you see the H&M also is reviving. So because, nowadays we are talking a lot ESG policies, and all the corporates under their financial obligations, they are supposed to, create their reporting framework. They need to look into this triple bottom line, environment, social governance. So under those environmental criteria, they have to all those revival process only the option. So what they do, they also are, investing $100 million. Their foundation has invested to develop a new technology, which is called green machine. And they are declaring that this green machine, which will make the recycling of clothes much easier. Even the separately, they are also setting up some bins in the stores to collect the thousands of tons of old fabrics, which is ready to be recycled when the technology becomes available. And also the water in the green machine can be used over and over again. This is what they claim in an efficient closed loop system. So idea here is whether you make a green machine or something, but you should be very conscious when you look into your R&D aspects here. So moreover, the company has now pledged to become climate positive by 2040 as per their ESG reporting framework and the sustainability policies, which is very specific focus on the environmental sustainability framework in their policy portfolio. Next. So I would like to also share here some not only the negative side, but we should also discuss, something which is positive also, because we cannot just make your mind all the time, something happening bad, because that creates negativity among us. So there are some good examples also worldwide where people are working on sustainability. Like if you see that there's some example of True Green, which I feel that India also, we should initiate such kind of things. If you see that, I think so when we talk that consumerism meets environmentalism, I think which is a very, very important concept, and we need to bring it in India also in a very bigger way now, because we really need it. The way we are growing, the way the population is, and the way, we are talking about development, infrastructure, blah, blah. So our needs are increasing. So it's very, very important to include this subject in our day-to-day life and even our green lifestyle, day-to-day lifestyle. So when your shopping meets the sustainability, that is also very important. So there is an example, very beautiful example by the Swedish town, which is a Eskilstuna, which is in Sweden. So what they have done, all the citizens are recycling more than 99% of their household waste in the city. And in this particular mall, let me tell you, this mall is filled with the recycled, upcycled, sustainable products such as second-hand clothing, used bicycles, furniture, sports equipment, and more. So I think in India, if we start something like that, I'm going to give this message to some of the developers that they should come up with such kind of malls in India. Really, we need it. Although our old, if you see our ancient habits, my dadi and my grandmom and all that, they were recycling the clothes. I know that they never throw the clothes, even they recycle, they make the bag out of that. So that is our part of culture, but somewhere we are losing that sort of now senses, and our youth is also more into consumerism side. But now we need to be very sensitive, and these kind of initiatives we require in India now. Next. This is another example where you can see in the South Korea. This is the Seoul upcycling plaza. So where you will see that this is the size 16,000 approximately the square meter size plaza. And this is the world's largest upcycling cultural complex space where the visitors they will be getting sensitization about these issues, because they can observe that, they can learn, they can get experience, everything regarding about the upcycling. So it is basically the home for the process of collecting, sorting, breaking down products into reusable raw materials in the upcycled goods. So these such kind of initiatives really India needs now. This is what I feel. So then we can have a good example of true green or going green, I would say. Next. So now I think when Dr. Hariharan just started his note today, he just mentioned about green buildings. He just talked about built environment. Although we know that we are talking about green buildings today, but when you look into your cities in the urban context I'm talking about, you will also have a feel that we are also talking about concrete jungles. But now, how to take this transformation process from concrete jungle to urban forest, this is what this green concept has come into the picture. Otherwise, adding this green plus buildings, then we are saying that green buildings. If you make your buildings in the ancient stories, if you see that, my buildings were already green. But now I'm adding green because I have to add green. I'm enforced to add green now. Because without green, I can't exist. That's the point here. If you see the urban heat island effect, because I would like to address it here when I'm talking about green building and certification. So urban heat island is a very, very important phenomenon in urban cities where we are using the concrete, which is the second largest material in the world after water, which we are using to build. So this is what the worry is. Because we are using concrete, and we are, talking about development, but unless we do not bring the nature to our cities, to our buildings at micro and macro level planning, I think we cannot resist, for a long time, unless we are not setting this equilibrium with the nature. Very, very important component here. Otherwise, we are talking that Earth is getting warmer and we are predicting more 2 degrees centigrade increase, how we would do that? Because somebody's initiative at some exclusive level, some buildings are going green and all that. We cannot solve the problem. Next. Yeah. So there is another issue which I would like to talk here when we are talking about the concretization. So because we cannot neglect this fact that the most of the urban area nowadays using migrant technology. Although the builder feels that it is a very productive product because they get faster construction and they are building with a lot of productivity, they are saving time, they are saving money. But finally, I think this is again food for thought that what we are going to do with our cities at the end, then the kind of heat and the kind of microclimatic variations, due to concrete character to gain the heat, that if we are not understanding and we are not giving a thought towards to these kind of issues. So I think this is very important now. We need to work on and we need to do more brainstorming on these issues. Next. So the best part, I would like to share with you that the last week I was having a discussion with some of the intellectuals, some landscape architects were there. I found it difficult that to convince them in the urban area how to bring nature to the buildings. I'll tell you why. Because we know the fact that we don't have Mother Earth. The plot size are constrained. You have small plots. And entire plot is excavated for the basements, to fit their podiums, all that. Because this is a high-rise culture in the urban areas. So I don't get hardly 5 to 10% area for putting my Mother Earth or growing some trees there. So that is a big issue in the urban areas. Then builders or developers or architects, even the landscape architect, they say, ma'am, then what to do because we don't have the space. So that was worrying, for us. So I feel personally here that unless we don't focus on the vertical gardening or vertical walls, I think it is only the one option now. Because if you don't have Mother Earth and you are just making building, multiple buildings, where is the land available? Because you cannot grow green, how will you create earth in the cities? How will you bring that true green in the cities? That's the problem. So we are talking about building green, but unless we don't bring this nature aspect in the building or built environment, how we would address that, what is green and non-green? So, I always have a fight with people that you add vertical garden. Then they always give me a challenges, they say that, ma'am, nobody will maintain it. Because if I'm as a developer making this vertical garden or vertical wall, so society people are not going to maintain it. So my answer to them is always, sir, you at least make it. You just design it, you build it, and leave it up to the society. If they don't make it, don't maintain it, then it is their fate. It is their unfortunate. Because the idea here is we have to analyze the pros and cons that actually we are going to bear, collectively as a community because of the global warming, climate change, heat island effect. So there is a micro level initiative and macro level. So we need to look into things very holistically when you talk about true green or greenwashing. So just putting green on the drawings or something, that is also not going to help. You have to make more green spaces vertically wherever, even small patch in the development plan, you need to fill with the green. If we don't do it, we cannot solve the problem of this urban concretization, urban jungle or heat island. Next. So another challenge which I found is that is the unfavorable policies to increase the green cover. Let me tell you the kind of construction and buildings we are making nowadays in urban areas. Where is the balcony? Even as a society member, where I will put some green in that? How could I add greenery in that? Because in Mumbai city, we have a fungible FSI as per the DCR issue. So we don't have balconies here. So where can I grow some plants? I can keep some greenery in my lobby or balcony. So those trends we are losing those trends. We are losing that sort of culture, that sort of thing because of this policies also. So I think here I would say that some sort of green governance or policy interventions are required. When we are talking about Miyawaki in Bombay, let me tell you, the last month there was a policy which was passed in Maharashtra that if you have a 10,000 square feet plot, you must use Miyawaki. That's fine. But how much area you have for that Miyawaki? Because your entire plot is being excavated for making that basement area, for accommodating your parking. So where you will do that? So point is here, we need to think it logically that what is doable, what is possible, and how we can bring that change in the policy mechanism so that, we could address all these sustainability issues in a very holistic manner. Next. So now bringing nature to the built environment, this is the only option left. So when we talk about green building, so it is not for the greenwash presentation. Let me tell you, the building I'm showing you here is truly green representation. I don't want to discuss that it is just for the marketing, whether you take the pre-certification or you just take it for the sake of branding and say, oh, my building is platinum rated or silver or gold or like that. But at the end, what is the value addition to the environment? What is the value addition to the society? What is the value addition to the health and well-being of the people? And how you are setting the connect between biodiversity and the built environment. So basically, it is the outcome and the result which really matters, the performance, not just the certificate all the time. Next.
Mala, we have the kids have to leave at 3:30, I'm told.
Sir, just 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Next is last slide now. Next. So here, just back, sir, one slide back. Yeah. So in today's time, we are talking about net zero policy by 2070, and these are our commitments in the COP26. But let me tell you a very clear fact that when you look into the roof sizes, and we discuss about the solar rooftop policies and all that, you will feel that there is no space on the roof to generate on-site solar also. In residential projects, still there is a little possibilities, but in the commercial buildings, your entire roof is occupied with the equipment, utility equipments, because the buildings are centrally air conditioned. So how to use the solar there? So only the option left is that is offsite. Either you purchase the green power, so only that is the thing. But now point here is whether the common man is aware about these policies, the awareness is there. So there is a sort of ease of business when common man can understand whether those policies are implementable or how they are supposed to do it. So there is we need to build, that we need to fill that gap between common man and this knowledge and this awareness, so that they also understand that how we can basically purchase the green power. Because on-site solar is very, very difficult and big constraint, because high-rise buildings are consume a lot of energy, a lot of power. Next. So this is my last slide where I would like to say that you have always two perspectives, true green and greenwashing when we talk about buildings also. But I'll tell you, you need to understand whether what is a true green building and what is not a green building. So how do you address that issue? With when you make basically construct a building, you look into the green supply chain, you look into the passive design aspects, you take the certification at the end, but what happened? The monitoring part, how that building is performing, unless you don't understand post-evaluation, like how much you are doing the saving, how much energy saving, how much water you are saving, how much waste you are minimizing, how your indoor air quality is improving. So I think measurement and monitoring is very, very important aspect here. So that building for me become a true green building. True, I would say true green, because my topic was the true green. So taking just pre-certification doesn't claim that my building is actually green. Pre-certification is just a commitment. Whether decision maker is giving a commitment, whether I'm going to make a silver rating building or gold rating building or platinum. But once you construct it, you operate it also with the same responsibility, with the same sense of responsibility, and look into the operational part with an efficient approach. Then only that building is true green. When you start to understand its savings, you understand its carbon emission decarbonization process, then you really feel that you are moving towards green path. Next. So green product is another area where labels, products. So I think we need to understand that who are the agencies who have better credentials, the best credential to certify your product. So that is also very, very important. Next. So green governance and performance takes you really towards a real green. unless you don't look into the governance aspect, you don't look into the performance part, I think you are still, little, I would say, not reaching towards the real green journey, the destination, but you are on the path. So let's understand that we have to work now in such a way that we build green, we live green, but the greenwashing, we should avoid this greenwashing, and we need to follow the path of real green. So real green need to be handled very sensitively, understanding its pros and cons through R&D methods, to good knowledge, wisdom, expertise. Then I think you should claim that you are making a product green, or you are producing a product green, or you are making a building green. This is what I would like to end my presentation.
Thanks.
Next slide, sir. Thank you, sir.
Satish Panchal, your views are right. Well, I would say it's not just a lack of ethic, it's also sometimes lack of awareness among promoters. In many cases, it's been the lack of awareness. Let me start with Lal Chand, since he has raised his hand once again. Lal Chand Swami, would you want to speak? How do I? There you are. You're allowed to talk. One moment. Yeah, you can speak now, Lal Chand Swami. Lal Chand, you can speak. Say hello to us, and since you raised your hand, okay, he'll come back. Jain, I'll turn to you, since you made some very perceptive remarks in the beginning, and you've stayed right through. And you know what she's saying, about this whole business of consumerism and environmentalism when shopping meets sustainability and so on. I mean, to hear that high-rise buildings in Bombay do not allow balconies, it's a horror. I don't know how people live in such places. Jain, your turn to speak. After that, we will invite the two faculty here, Dr. Nandini and Architect Neetu. You have to unmute, please.
I have nothing more to offer than what I said before and what Mala said, and that's exactly been the hallmark we've been discussing for a couple of years now. That the greenwashing is not required. We have to abstain from it. It's as simple as that. And consciousness of the individual and the organization. So that's it. I mean, you see, what Bala has made a very articulate presentation, but this is something what we always spoken always in our meetings and board meetings. And we have to, whether by law or otherwise, or educate. I mean, now what is the whole thing of our purpose of going back to schools and telling the children, starting it at school level and not the college and the university level? This is it. Let it rise from them, their heart, mentally, and that's the way it will apply or it will appeal. That's all. I have nothing more to say. I mean, there's nothing you can say about it. There are no remedies to it.
Wow. Nandini Moondra, what is your take?
Sir, I think that Dr. Mala Singh has given a very brief and timely presentation that is what is green and what is actually not happening as per the environmental rules. So this is the awareness we need as an individual, not only as a faculty or a children, but as an individual in the worldwide area, so that we have to be aware about the things that we are going to intake for us and for the environment. So I think it is a very productive presentation for all of us, irrespective of the stream we are working on.
Right. Architect Neetu, do you want to speak? You want to say hello? You have to unmute, please.
First of all, sir, I would like to thank you all for making me a part of this session, taking me in. It was indeed a great pleasure to attend the session, and it has been very informative also. Actually, we always teach our students about sustainable development and the ways to work for it. And we all know about the need for sustainability, how we can how we can go for sustainability. That is the main motive is conserving for future generations. And for our children, for our students, we tell them about the various SDGs, how they could be achieved. But this greenwashing and all the relevant things that greenwashing talks about, what is it about that? Frankly, I came to know about this in today's session. So I'm very happy to attend this session. First of all, I had, you can say, I knew about what greenwashing is, but it opened my eyes wider when I today. So
Sure.
if I could get some information about like how we as a common man can work or contribute to mitigate greenwashing.
Well,
Like,
do you live in an apartment, Neetu?
yes, sir. Yes.
If that is so, look at what Satish Panchal is writing on the chat box. Every apartment has to have, he says, an own STP with more than 50% being reused. He says there must be real rainwater harvesting, not some greenwashed rainwater harvesting that we have. He says
Right,
there has to be a common geyser and not a geyser that you buy in every washroom of yours. Then he says you ought to have some actual green plants and not some photographs of green plants.
Right.
And should it be, what do you think as an architect? Do you think it should be the stick? That is, I put a mandate, I bring penalty to your apartment. Danda is the better way, or is it like we appeal to people's sensibility? What should we do?
So we can appeal to people's sensitivity, but the thing is that for any aspect, for any kind of movement or any kind of, you can say, what if we want to work for the society, the main attribute is like our own consciousness, how people perceive things,
happening, right?
how they want to, if they want to improve or not. But the thing is, frankly, we also need some rigid measures to be taken, maybe by the government or maybe by the municipal corporations or so, unless those things are being made mandatory for general people or general public. I think society, I have, you can say, I have double views on it. Like, some measures should be implemented, or some measures should be made mandatory to be followed. Only then people would people would really help to contribute. Actually, most of the people who are sensitive to these issues, who have knowledge about what sustainability means and what conservation or what environment means to us, they are aware of it. I think lack of awareness among people is also one of the reasons for this greenwashing concept being flourishing nowadays.
Got it. Ravalji, you are right on time. You heard Mala saying, you heard of the multiple options that she threw, and of the vigilante bodies which are across the world talking about whether it's a Coca-Cola or some other company and what they're doing. What do you think? Your wise sage remarks. You typically make lots of diligent notes before you speak. So, Dr. Raval, over to you.
We are all new entrants in this particular subject, but I am always skeptical, you know me. All IGBC certification issuing authorities, do they merit to be there? As far as water and wastewater is concerned, it is something that we need to review it in detail. And number two, one of the slides that Dr. Mala has shown, the entire vegetation was to prevent the west side heat. And now the west side heat wavelength is such that it does not promote a lot of vegetation growth. It's not favorable to photosynthesis. So aesthetics, green, scenic appeal, and green science, they are two different worlds. Of course, we have ran out of our resources so much that anything little we show looks very appealing, and that's beautiful. It's a good start. But we have a long way to go, long way to go. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Well, I think we spent, 100 minutes now. We should stop here. Mala, I will leave the floor to you for your closing remarks. You heard a few people. I'm sure you have read the chat box notes from Satish Panchal and others. So I'd like you to see. Tanmay Jaiswal has raised hands. Just one moment. Yes, Tanmay. I think you should speak since you raised hands. Go on. Unmute and speak, please. Tanmay Jaiswal. Okay.
Hello,
yes.
sir.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I
Good
have a question, sir. Just I want to ask that, sir, what is the role of capital or money in sustainability? Like the countries who are developed think about sustainability, like the Middle East countries or UAE. So, sir, after achieving some standards and protocols, most of the countries think about sustainability. How does a country who has not a law, how does the country who has not of a capital can achieve sustainability?
First of
Like,
all, Tanmay, there is no need for capital. It is so hugely rewarding today. If you are living in an apartment, or if you're working in an office which has, let us say, 100,000 liters of water as wastewater discharge, in 1 year that means about 36 million liters. And even if you are buying water at 10 paisa per liter, 100 rupees per 1,000 liters, you are saving as much as 36 lakh rupees in 1 year, when the entire equipment for putting up an STP wastewater treatment system will be about 45 lakhs. So you're getting your entire money back in 15 to 18 months. Can you imagine any business where the return is as much as 100% or 90% or so? So today it is not about new capital being found. As a matter of fact, there are new companies now. Mala, I will speak to you about this, where the CFO says, if people, professionals like Mala Singh, go and say, look, you must do some wastewater system or something here. For example, you have an air conditioning system and it needs water. In any shopping mall, in any of these malls that you visit, typically they need about 100,000 liters if they are about 8 lakh, 9 lakh square feet. Now, that 100,000 liters they're buying from outside, if they use the wastewater, treated it to a drinking grade, used it back as top-up water for cooling towers, they will save this 36 lakhs every year. One CFO told me, I don't have the money, I understand what you're saying, but if there is somebody who will put that money first and then take it back later, I'm okay. I said, yes, in the next 1 week, I will get you the money. It took us about 6 weeks, but we got them the money in a way that they paid by use. That is, they paid in installments. You think it like that, Tanmay. So these are all things that are possible today. For not only that, there is an airport, the Bangalore International Airport is now looking at one technology for BIPVs, that is building integrator. On the glass, they put a solar film and generate. The sustainability officers there said that we don't have the money for it. I said, I will organize the funding for you. So there are many things that can become a green asset class today. So it's not that solutions are not available. It's not that investment or investors are not available. Both are available today. And it makes a lot of sense. And even the current tariffs, we are paying 8 rupees, 10 rupees per unit. If you're in Bombay, you pay 12 rupees for a commercial building. If you're in Gujarat, you pay 18 rupees. So it becomes extremely viable for a builder or a building owner to take to such things, Tanmay. And people like Mala, Mala, I'll speak to you if you want. In the last 1 year, simply by talking to a few people, I don't travel too much, as you know, I have found that about 25 to 27 crores of such monies have been deployed, right? I just told a few people, that's it, right? So I'm saying that there is incredible potential for this. And I believe that this market for water efficiency or energy efficiency in every building is about 200,000 crores. I can go back to the math another day. These are all things, Tanmay. You want to say anything, Tanmay, before I ask Mala?
But how does the government can aware the public for the sustainability? Like, it is the first need to satisfy the needs of the consumer. Then it comes the sustainability part. So, sir, how does our Indian government or the public companies can aspire the public to attain sustainability or to think of the country first, the vegetation type like that resources?
It's already happening, Tanmay. The government is doing what it can. In fact, the Prime Minister went to Bombay 3-4 weeks ago, and he announced that water security is a greater need than national security. For a political person first, forget that he's also Prime Minister, for him to say that national security is
yes, sir, I have heard about it. Yes,
exactly. So the government is fully informed of this. And they've brought in a whole set of new laws. Mala ma'am spoke about ESG, for instance, environment, sustainability and governance. There's something called SRBR that has come. There are many regulations of this kind that the government has already implemented. And many, I would say at least all the listed companies, we are talking about 200,000 companies, they all are now mandated to at least file the report. Once they start filing the report on their water consumption, their energy consumption and such things, the next will be to try and see what we do to govern. First it's data, after that is analysis and then decision making. It will happen, Tanmay. Over to you, Mala, for your closing notes. And
yeah, I think we should understand that, as rightly said by Dr. Hariharan, that government is doing their bit already. Because if you see the COP26, when our Honorable PM has given the commitment of making India net zero by 2070, that was the one commitment. And second was producing 500 gigawatt of through renewable energy, the solar energy by 2030. And let me tell you that 43% of the target has already been achieved. And the remaining 7%, I think, requires some 20 lakh crore investment, which is, I think, still going on. And very soon, I think we will achieve that as well, as per the new policy interventions. And apart from that, there was also the third commitment, which was done in COP26, that was heavy commitment of reducing 1 billion ton of carbon emissions from India.
By 2030.
From India, I'm talking about, specific to our country. And you should also know that as on today, how much carbon we are producing, that's a 2.48. Okay, 2.48 tons carbon emissions we are having as per the Center of Science and Environment report. Anyway, if we are developing, so definitely this is going to double and double. But every year, how we reduce by 2030 to reduce this 1 billion is a very, very big agenda. That's what we are talking about: green building, green products. That's where we are, pitching this subject and sensitizing people. And as you said, the society people, how they will do and all that. Let me tell you, in my housing society, I stay in Mumbai. So I don't have an STP because this is little old building, okay? In new buildings, STP is mandatory. You have rainwater harvesting, that is mandatory. Even 25% of the solar panel and solar, that is also mandatory. Even waste management, OWC machine, these all are very, the basic things, which in the new building, without these things, you can't get the approval. So that is already integral part of the policy interventions, which is already there. But the problem is in the existing buildings. Like I was giving you the example that in my building, I pay every month, sir, 1,000 rupees for just tanker water, because every day we require 1 or 2 tanker extra for the flushing water. Only in the rainy season, we are using that rainwater in the flushing tank by passing through the rainwater filters. So during rainy season, we are only reusing that water. So the idea here is, being a society also, being a consumer, being a tenant, my responsibility in my wherever I'm staying, that is also equally important. Policy always doesn't help. Even technology always doesn't help. Your behavior approach, your own consciousness, your individual consciousness, that is much important. Then you can bring change among others.
Absolutely.
This is what I would like to say.
Fine. On that wonderful, healthy, optimistic note, I think we should close. All good things have to close.
Yes.
And well, it's nearly what, 120 minutes, I think. Another 10 minutes short of it. We should close. Thank you so much for all of you who've been present right through. And I feel that the attendance has almost not dropped, Mala Singh. Looks like everyone has sat through the meeting. I hope it has left some thoughts in the minds of the faculty as well as of the students, and that this lecture series is helping them all. To the faculty particularly, we will be coming back to you. Yatin Malik will write to you. We want to see what you want your students and your co-faculty members to be listening to. Today we had this on True Green and Greenwash. We can have other such sessions for you. We can even tailor make it to help you understand what you need in your colleges and your universities. Thank you so much for all of you. Thank you, Payal. Thank you, Mala. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you, Jain for all your effort. Yeah. All right. We close there. Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, Gemini sir. Thank you for all the help, sir.
Yeah, all the best. Bye-bye.